So I wanted to make this video. It's pretty raw. It's just an idea that came to my mind about where I think the future of creativity is going to go. So when you think of music, right? Music is a creative process, but there were different eras of music that required different levels of creativity. So think music pre 1980. So think everything up until the 80s. So just to make it simple, we'll say music from the 1960s. So music from the 1960s, it was all people that were playing instruments. Everyone had a job. So you might have had a band of 5 people, and everyone's job was to do something specific to make music and to make a song. So someone's job might have been singing, someone's job might have been playing the guitar, playing the drums, things like that. And then you had from the 60s to the 80s, you started to have technology remove the need of playing instruments. So it didn't go away. People still played instruments in the 1980s. But what you had was you had technology. Oh, wow, that looks crazy. But you get where I'm going. So you had technology that shifted music in the 80s from what it looked like in the 60s. So when you think of music in the 80s and you think of like the birth of hip hop and stuff like that, a lot of those songs came from remixing the music from the 60s. So everyone was playing an instrument in the 60s. They made a ton of songs. Just for simplicity's sake, say a million songs were made uh, from the beginning of music to the 1960s. And obviously, it's not that number, but I'm just using it to fully get the point across. So, a million songs were made, right? So, what happened is this technology took those 1 million songs and made 10 million songs. And then the gap, once that was figured out that you could make 1 million to 10 million, that gap got even shorter from the 80s to the 90s and 2000s, let's say. So this is the 90s and 2000s. And that gap got shorter because they figured out that you can take these songs and make more songs with them. So it accelerated even further, and this short gap, which was longer here, turned this into say 250 million songs. So the gap got shorter due to technology, and that technology, the original technology that allowed to go from playing instruments to not needing instruments. So you went from 5 people here to maybe 1 or 2 people here. So say a DJ, and then you had someone on the microphone. So you had you went from 5 people to 2 people. You went from 1 million songs to 10 million songs. And then from here, the technology gap wasn't even a major shift, it was just efficiency. So this is EF for efficiency. So you have this technology become more efficient, and that led to this going exponential and going from 10 million to 250 million. And you went from needing two people to you really only need one person. And you only need one person, but the reason it went exponential is because even though you only needed one person, you still had people say, okay, well, all of the people here, it would be five people in a band and they were playing music. Like those people didn't go away. So you still had the same amount of people, if not more, that like music. So you got into this place to where you had one person that that's all it took to make songs, but you had even more people with the same interests. So now you have five people working on one song that only technically needs one, but they're bringing their creativity to it. So let's just backtrack really quick before we go to where I think things are going in the future. So you went from a band of five people playing instruments, making songs, to technology making it two people, and it's easier to make songs because you don't need to use the instruments, and you can just use the instruments that people played here to make more songs. And then you had the efficiency of that, and the efficiency of that took that process and this jump and made it super efficient, so things went exponential to where now you just have really good music and you can make as much as you want of it pretty much, and all it takes is one person. But now you have five people that are working on one song even though it only takes one person. So this is where I think things are going now. So now, from the 2000s, I'm saying early 2000s, like think like actually 2000, like the year 2000, until 2020, let's say 2023, when you had AI become really popular. So this gap right here is the same as this gap. So you have this technology that removes the need for someone to know how to go into a music studio or use all of the equipment or any of that. Meaning me, I've never made a song in my life, right? But right now, if I wanted to make a song, I could go to suno.ai and I could make a song. And all I have to do is type in what I want, listen to it, give it feedback, say, no, I don't like that, change this, swap this out, blah, blah, blah. So now, the same way you went from needing five people and instruments to only needing two people and not needing instruments, that's where things got to in 2023. And so what that looks like now is you don't need music industry knowledge or connections. Like that's what you needed in the year 2000. You needed connections, you needed an understanding of how to make music, you needed all of these things. So even though you didn't need to know how to make instruments, there were still a lot of things that you needed to know that your average person probably didn't. You had to really be deep into music to know how to make music. And now the technology shift with AI completely erased that. So what that looks like now is now I think it was a statistic that said 60% of music being generated will be AI music, which means that you went from this shift. Like this is a shift that is similar to this in the sense of you're not required to have what it took to make music in this sense. So that changes everything. So what that looks like is in the 80s, bec- due to that shift, you had the birth of hip hop. You had the birth of a new genre of music, and it became the biggest thing in the world. So that same thing is going to happen now. If not, it might already be happening, but you wouldn't know, similar to how you didn't really know what was going on with hip hop in the 80s until you look back. And the 80s is before my time. So I'm saying this from my own perspective, not from the sense of like I was there. But if you were in that time period, like say you were in Idaho, you don't know what's going on in Brooklyn in the 80s. Like you just don't. So same thing is there could be a corner of the internet right now to where similar to how hip hop was created, you have this new genre slash era of music being created right now. And what I think this looks like going forward, so now 2023 onward, to say it's 2026, so say, let's just say 2030s. So what does things look like in the 2030s? So in the 2030s, you have this getting shorter because the tech here is AI, and you have this efficiency of AI, and the efficiency of AI is going to accelerate similar to how this accelerated. So whatever is happening now to where all of these songs are being created by AI, we don't necessarily know what is being made from it yet, but we will in the very near future. And then once we do know that and people grow a liking for this new thing, whatever it turns into, is going to accelerate. So one of the bottlenecks here is the lack of awareness. So here the bottleneck was similar. So you had DJs and you had people that started to learn how to use this technology to remove the need from instruments, but it wasn't a mass awareness thing until it became efficient, until more people were able to use this and understand it. And then that's when you had like this golden era. And I think the same thing is going to happen once you have the efficiency of AI and the ease of use, and it becomes very normalized, then I think you're going to have this new golden era of music. And I'm using music as an example, but I think it just applies to creativity as a whole. Because, same thing, when you think about just like to use another medium of creativity, like think movies, right? So in the 60s, movies weren't that good, but then technology got better and you got better movies. And then the industry itself became more efficient, and then you got really good movies. And then fast forward even further, like up until in somewhere in this gap, the movies became really, really good. And that's when you had uh, all of the superhero movies coming out and all of that. And it just became a golden era. And now that's what I think things are headed to now is the efficiency of AI as it increases and as more people are able to use it, it removes the barrier of the 2000s of people needing industry connections or expertise, similar to how people needed instruments here. Removing that and then making it efficient is going to allow anyone to tap into their creative ideas at any scale that they want to. So now it could look like, as I was using that example, it could look like you're able to, as a one person, make a movie and you make the soundtrack for the movie yourself. So that is what I think is going to happen here in the 2030s. And I think right now, a lot of people are, I would say, against AI, and for whatever reason that they want to be, that's not really the point of this video. But as with all technology, people will use technology because it makes their lives simpler and it makes their lives easier. If not, it wouldn't exist. So that's going to happen. So let's just, regardless of whether you like AI or don't like AI, that's going to happen. So when that happens and when people are using it in a creative aspect, you no longer have this barrier, and anyone can put out whatever it is that they want, and the market just decides. So you kind of have that now with social media and people being creators. But even that, like me making this YouTube video, like I'm not a YouTuber. I this is a lot for me to figure out. There's a whole lot of things that I have to understand and all of that. But I think all of that is going to go away. And I think you're just going to get to a place to where it's like you have an idea and you're able to just talk into a microphone and say, hey, I want this to be an engaging video, and this is what I want the topic to be about. And then you just brain dump what's on your mind. And then you'll get feedback, and then you say, okay, this is what I like, but this is what I want you to change. And then the creativity aspect is no longer limited to you having to interface with all of these softwares and technologies and algorithms and all of this stuff. I think it all just goes away and becomes way more pure, similar to how like you had in somewhere in between this gap, like in hip hop, you had the era of like mixtapes. So when mixtapes were dropping on that Piff, it was like a purity era. Like the only goal when you would drop a mixtape on that Piff was to be trending and to rank. And the only way that you could get that is if people actually liked it. And for a while, that was just the case. So you had a ton of good music coming out. And that's where I think things are going to go sometime in the 2030s. So that's my rant on creativity and why I think that things are repeating a cycle that have happened before. Whether you agree or disagree, be sure to like this video and subscribe because I asked you to. That's all. I'm asking you to do it. So please do it. Thank you.